I'm saying, so what happens is that women are discriminated against because of this one evil of dowry. Now, the dowry, I told you, the prohibition officers are nowhere present, and I'm afraid this is one system that is persisting in spite of the law because of 3-4 reasons. One of the reasons is that the girl's parents themselves are colluding with the groom's parents. It's not that they have ever taken the first step to go and complain. They want the daughter married off at any cost, and the groom colludes. What about the girl? The girl, I'm afraid, is being made to feel so small and humiliated that she goes along with the rest of them. And I'm reminded of what Eleanor Roosevelt has said, that nobody can make you feel inferior except with your consent. So educated women, at least in the rural and semi-urban areas, should have the option of leaving their homes, turning their back and going and staying outside and earning their own living. Because, if you want to continue in that same comfort zone and be allowed to be, you want to become martyrs, that's not a good thing. So what they should do, instead of paying a huge amount of money as salaries to the so-called dowry prohibition officers, they should have hostels for single women every 2 kilometers, so that when they leave the home, they have a place to go and take refuge. And female education, of course, is now being emphasized in most
Can I just
places.
interrupt you here for a minute, please?
No, I'll just give you, I'll finish it. I'm just going to, give me one minute. I have the statistics of the National Crime Records Bureau up to 2012. And what they say is 44,668 cases of dowry deaths have been convicted in these years. How could this have happened except with the full connivance of the entire society to do this? So it's very, very sad that this is how it is. And I would advise what Ayn Rand has been saying to everybody, that the question is not what they let you do. The question is, who will stop you from doing what you want to do? So really speaking, it's for the women. They have legal sanctions. They have to go on clamoring. They have to be not silent, but raise their voice and be counted and say that there is everything in the statutes to support our claim for equality, and it is our birthright, and fight for it. And I think that's the most important thing.
Thank you, Lata. Now, can I request Ms. Susan Comfort, Managing Director, Pinkerton Healthcare Consulting Germany.
I'd like to say hello to everybody. I'm very, very happy to be here in India. Maybe one few of you have seen that I'm not a typical Indian woman, so I come from Germany, and I was invited here to come and speak on this panel about women empowerment. But I would like to give you an example for women empowerment in Germany, especially in healthcare. I'm not a lawyer. I studied science nursing, and after I finished my study, I was responsible as a nursing director for many hundreds of nurses. After I finished this, I became a businesswoman. I started a little own business in consulting and healthcare consulting. So what do we do? Our name is Pinkerton Healthcare Consulting. It's a typical English name that belongs to my former name. When I married, I changed my name into Comfort. So now what we do is we provide quality management systems for the healthcare. Hospitals and healthcare homes and people that come out of hospital and need care is a big market in Germany. And so you need, and this is written by law, you need to have a quality management. So that's what we provide. Let me show a few aspects of what Germany's healthcare and future challenges are about. As you can see, there are 3 different images. If you look at the left side, you can see like a Christmas tree. This was the social society in 1910. Now, if you turn over to the right side, you can see the future on 2030. It will almost, like we say, stand on top. What does it mean? It means on the bottom line, you see the young people in Germany. On the top, you see the elder one. So we have a much increase of elder people in Germany. That also means that they will need care at the end of the life. We spend in our healthcare system statically since 2002, now recently almost 10 to 12% of the GDP. This is statically and increasing because of the development. What do we spend? We spend almost 79%, almost 80%, you can say, in medical service, technique, and nursing care. This is a big amount for us in Germany. And only a third of it, almost a third of it, is accommodation and food, administration, prevention and protection, investments and transports. So these are the spendings in our healthcare system. As you can see, you see 2 lines. The red line is the percentage of healthcare costs. And the yellow one is the percentage of population. Of course, the elderly population goes down, but as you can see at the same time, starting at the age of 65, the spending costs on healthcare increase massively. They say almost 80% of the cost will be at the end of the life. So this also means that people need lots of care, healthcare, medical services, etc. I found a little chart how public and private and public expenditures in health are shown. You can see a few countries. On the third, you can see Germany, and Germany has a huge spending in public expenses, and almost average, because on the yellow line you can see a straight line, and you can see this is the average spending. We have an average spending also in private spending in the healthcare system. So we have both. But also that we are facing a constant prospering market, we have problems in our healthcare market, such as healthcare expenses continue to rise in Germany, of course, but also medical outcome quality stays in the lower middle. Although we are standing in front of an increasing supply in healthcare, we face a growing shortage of skilled workers at the same time, such as nursing, qualified nursing, such as physicians. We have a lack of nurses to the year of 2030, almost 300,000. I was wondering about how to talk about doing business in the healthcare industry, and I found this image. Maybe you know this woman. She is a maybe well-known woman in India, and sometimes in business it feels a bit like being Mother Teresa on one side and being a businesswoman on the other side. So, sorry, you cannot see a picture of Mother Teresa. It failed. So, let me go on into the chart. So, we have to ask, what do these women have in common? So, let's see at the healthcare industry. In the last 10 years, there were many different startups, waves in the healthcare industry. So, such as care sector, for outpatient nursing and nursing homes, fitness, wellness service, and social supply service support in dementia care. This is a huge section because we aware a big amount of people at the end of the life, they will have dementia problems. So we have to take care of them in their own home. And nurses go there and take care and support them in their social life. But we also have to face innovation in the healthcare industry. We have to look at three major points. One point is the consumer-oriented innovation, such as optimization from patients' perspectives. Of course, the patient is the person who says what he needs. Examples: shorter waiting times, additional services, and lower co-payments, of course, because we have a very high level on public expenses in the healthcare system, and the patients understand that they don't have to pay for their supplies. Innovative technologies, such as diagnostic and therapeutic methods. Examples could be new diagnostic methods, new medical technology. Or new business models, optimization of cooperation. Examples could be a horizontal integration of healthcare providers, that means at the same discipline, or a vertical integration of providers, that means different disciplines. So they come together and they do serve the patient. But we have challenges. So I just spotted a few of the challenges to give you an idea. For one thing, it could be many complex legal regulations. Our social security system is, I think, the most regulated system in Germany. It's a large system and it needs a lot of regulation and also a lot of laws. At the second, we have a higher complexity of financial flows and long process to integrate services into the reimbursement, of course. At the third part, we have strong knowledge base. We need a strong knowledge base. 4 different definitions and 5 variety of stakeholder groups which have different interests. So if you want to look a little bit closer, look a bit closer, this could be some suggestions or recommendations. We can use early environment of legal competence. We need it, of course, because if you want to raise up a business, you need quite legal support. We need financial models, we need ensuring of professional competence, understanding of the perspectives, and building reliable contacts. So this is a quick chart how women and men are shown in the industry. So you can see almost 74% of the healthcare industry is run by women. It's a large amount. So women in business, almost 30% of startups in Germany are by women. This is not very much, but okay, I get the, okay, this is not so very much. Could be more, but at least we have 30%. So the healthcare industry is a very growing market and it's a big chance for women. Let me go through this very quick and end at this point. So you can see there are several different entrepreneurs in the healthcare and in the other systems. So we have 42.9% that are in the healthcare system. Okay, I would like to end at this point. Thank you very much for your listening and your audience. And if you have any questions, I would really like to answer this. Thank you.
Hello, I'm in with Mrs. Nirmala Sawant, who would like to leave now. She has been, thank you very much for giving your valuable time, and it has been great listening to you. So I would like to just give a big hand for her, and yes, please, thank you once again.
I apologize that I have to go because lots of people are waiting.
So we'll continue with the session. Thank you.
can I request Dr. Bettina Kahe, Professor and Dean?
Yeah, no, that's okay. I can take this here. Yeah, thank you very much. So I think we are running out of time, so I will be very short. And especially, I already had the floor 2 times, today, also in the other panel, and yesterday. Maybe I would just like very briefly come back to the law, because I like this idea so much about the National Law Day. And I would like to tell you or to say that in Europe, women's empowerment is really an empowerment of law. Because if you look back a little bit in the European history, you will recognize that equal rights are quite young. Well, for instance, in Switzerland, we introduced the woman's right to vote in the 70s, and not in 1800 something, but in 1976. So that needed a changement of the constitution to have the right to vote. So I mean, that is really the minimum you can ask for in a perspective, in European perspective. Also, it was forbidden in some European countries before the end of the Second World War, even to study law. Well, in Germany, it was a special situation because we had a dictatorship, but still it was not very easy for women to get into the job of lawyers and legal advisors or even judges. So the empowerment of law, why is it is so important to use the law to get the equal rights? There is an example, a famous example. It's an example from European law, which dates back to the early 70s, and where it needed a good attorney. It was, by the way, a woman who gave a legal advice to a woman living in Belgium. She was a flight attendant, and she simply got a salary which was less than the salary of her